With San Francisco trading away their true power back in Jordan Mason this offseason to create cap space, it was clear they were going to need to add another closer. And they didn't only add one in the draft, they added two by signing the undrafted free agent Corey Kiner. And while he splashed at times this offseason, I think he's going to really show what he's made of once pads come on during this training camp and preseason period. Because when you turn on his film, it's littered with broken tackles, and he has a variety of ways of breaking them. He's not just running over everyone every single time, but he can juke around people, set them up in the open field, and he even has a pretty nasty stiff arm. In addition to that, he also has a necessary build to really take on the workload if necessary for San Francisco, as he comes in at 5'9", weighing 210 pounds, so he's built low to the ground, which makes it really challenging for defenders to get underneath his pads. I also like how productive he's been over the course of his collegiate career. Specifically over the last 2 years, he's been able to accumulate 2,200 yards on the ground and 9 touchdowns. So in this video, I want to see if Corey Kiner can really follow the same trajectory as Jordan Mason and make the 53-man roster and be productive for San Francisco. To do this, we'll examine his strengths, his weaknesses, and his career up to this point so we can get a holistic understanding of the player he is. Initially starting out with his strengths, while Kiner isn't a prototypical back in his measurements, he does offer great contact balance and routinely breaks tackles. On this play, for instance, he breaks one tackle, another tackle, and just keeps going. These are the type of plays I think are kind of undervalued and can't be measured by a combine test. How can you measure how hard a player runs? All you can do is watch their film. And when you watch Kiner's film, you see him just laying out people. Not only does this pick up additional yardage on this play, but think about the damage it does to a player as the game goes on. He's not going to want to come up and hit Kiner the same way. On top of that, he's a nice change of pace back. Imagine going from trying to tackle an elusive Christian McCaffrey or a speedster in Isaac Grindo to a true power back in Corey Kiner. Now diving a little bit more deeply in his film, something that really stands out is his ability to cut on a dime. Watch this play. He sees this gap forming in his offensive line, cuts on a dime, and then exploits it. He's not the fastest back, but if you give him this much space, he's going to hurt you. Kiner also has excellent vision, which helps him set up his running lanes. Here, for instance, you can see how he's pressing one gap hard to get his offensive lineman to block this defender, then cuts back hard across the defense to create all this separation, and then finally finishes off with a nice stiff arm. Outside of Kiner's ability to just read the defense, break their tackles, and then find his way into the end zone, he also does a nice job in the passing game. Despite his shorter stature, he has reliable hands and can routinely turn it up the field, like he's already shown off in San Francisco's camp so far. Finally, before moving on to his weaknesses and potential areas of concern heading into the season, he was a productive back over the course of his career. Like I was mentioning, over the last 2 years, he's had 2,200 rushing yards and started in all their games. But now moving into Kiner's weaknesses, like a lot of power backs, he's not the fastest player, running his 40-yard dash in 4.57 seconds, but it's not often you see a player just run 40 yards untouched. And in San Francisco's outside zone scheme, often you don't have to be the fastest player to be successful. Rather, you have to be decisive, be able to put your foot into the ground, and then shoot up the field like we've seen on Kiner's tape. It's also worth noting, while he does have natural hands, he doesn't have the biggest catch radius, so a quarterback does have to be on target when targeting him. So overall, when I'm looking at Kiner's film and him as a player, I see a player that's going to be extremely successful in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. He's not going to be a player that's probably going to be breaking away 100-yard plays or anything like that, but he's just going to be consistently productive, kind of like Jordan Mason. And when you look at Corey Kiner's career up to this point, it starts looking more and more like that's going to be the case, because he's been productive ever since his high school days. During his senior season, for instance, at Roger Bacon High School in St. Bernard, Ohio, he was named Ohio Mr. Football after rushing for 1,866 yards and 35 touchdowns. And across his entire career there, he had 7,130 rushing yards and a total of 125 total touchdowns. And after his senior season, he was ranked as a 4-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports. And he had offers from LSU, Cincinnati, Florida, Indiana, and Kentucky, with him ultimately deciding to enroll at LSU. And during his whole season there, he was productive, rushing for 324 yards on 79 carries with 2 touchdowns. But after the season, he entered the NCAA transfer portal and transferred to the University of Cincinnati. And during 3 seasons with Cincinnati, he played in 34 games, starting in 24, and rushed for 2,562 yards and 14 touchdowns. And after this prolific career, he did enter the most recent draft, and while he went undrafted, I do think he made the right decision signing with San Francisco because Bobby Turner will be able to get the absolute most out of him. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him follow a similar path as Jordan Mason by making San Francisco's 53-man roster this year as an undrafted free agent. But I'd like to hear your thoughts down below about him as a player, and if you think he has the potential to replace a player like Jordan Mason. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.